Thousands of years ago, humans had neither glass nor a furnace capable of making it. Then one day, someone picked up a strange black stone lying on the ground. They struck it against another rock, and what happened would give humanity a material it would continue using thousands of years later. The stone broke into an edge so sharp that it could cut flesh. But this wasn't an ordinary stone, it was glass created by nature. And this raises a fascinating question. If nature could turn rock into glass, could humans do the same? Eventually, they tried. They put sand into fire, mixed different minerals, experimented again and again, and one day they began to take control of nature's secret. But how did humans finally learn to make glass? For thousands of years, humans didn't manufacture glass. They used the glass that nature had already created. Obsidian was especially useful because of the way it breaks. When certain lava cools extremely quickly, its atoms don't have enough time to organize into crystals. Instead, they become locked into a disordered structure, creating a volcanic glass. When obsidian breaks, it can produce extremely thin and sharp edges. Ancient humans could use these edges to cut meat, process animal hides, work wood, and make tools. But obsidian had one major limitation. You had to find it. If there was no natural volcanic glass nearby, you couldn't simply make more. And this is where the story becomes interesting. Hidden inside ordinary minerals was the basic recipe for making glass. Humans just hadn't discovered how to control it yet. Look at a handful of sand. It doesn't look very impressive, but much of it contains silica, one of the fundamental ingredients in traditional glass. There was just one problem. Pure silica requires an extremely high temperature to melt than early furnaces could easily achieve, so ancient glass makers needed a shortcut. Over time, people discovered that adding certain minerals could change the chemistry of the mixture. Materials such as sodium carbonate could act as a flux, lowering the temperature needed to melt silica, while calcium-rich materials could help stabilize the finished glass. Nobody knows exactly who discovered this process. There probably wasn't a single inventor who suddenly shouted, "I've invented glass." It was more likely the result of repeated experiments with fire, minerals, ceramics, and metal. Imagine an ancient furnace burning at extreme temperatures. Different minerals are being heated together again and again. Most experiments fail, but eventually something strange happens. A mixture melts, cools, and leaves behind a hard, shiny material unlike ordinary stone. Glass. By the second millennium BCE, manufactured glass objects were appearing in parts of the ancient Near East and Egypt. At first, glass was rare and valuable. People made beads, decorative objects, small containers, and colorful pieces that could imitate precious stones. Early glass makers were not building giant windows. They were discovering what this strange material could do. It could be transparent, it could be colored, it could shine, and while it was hot, it could be shaped. But making glass objects was still slow and difficult. A craftsman had to carefully work the hot material, and producing large numbers of objects was challenging. Then, around the 1st century BCE, a revolutionary technique appeared in the eastern Mediterranean: glassblowing. Imagine holding molten glass at an extremely high temperature. It's glowing, soft, and constantly changing shape. Now imagine placing it on the end of a hollow tube and blowing air through it. The glass expands, it becomes hollow, and a small blob of molten material can begin transforming into a vessel. This was glass blowing. The exact origin of the technique is debated, but it emerged around the eastern Mediterranean during the 1st century BCE, and it changed glass making dramatically. Before glass blowing, creating hollow glass vessels could be slow and complicated. With a hollow tube, a skilled craftsman could use air, rotation, heat, and tools to shape molten glass much more efficiently. A small blob could become a bottle, a cup, a container, or a decorative vessel. Production became faster, objects could become thinner, and glass became much more practical. The technique spread throughout the Roman world. Glass was no longer only a mysterious luxury, it was becoming part of everyday life. But the biggest transformation was still ahead. because humans were about to discover that glass wasn't only something you could look through. It could help you see what your eyes could never see. Your eyes are incredible, but they're limited. You can't clearly see something extremely far away. You can't see bacteria. You can't see individual cells, and you can't examine distant planets in detail. Then humans began shaping glass into lenses. Eyeglasses helped people see clearly, but lenses could do much more. They could bend light, focus it, and magnify images. And eventually, they changed science forever. In the early 17th century, telescopes began transforming astronomy. Galileo used an improved telescope to observe the sky and saw things that challenged the traditional understanding of the universe. The moon wasn't perfectly smooth. Jupiter had moons of its own. Venus showed phases. The heavens suddenly became something humans could investigate directly. But glass opened another direction too. Instead of looking farther away, humans could look smaller. Microscopes revealed tiny organisms, cells, and structures completely invisible to the naked eye. For the first time, humans could explore a hidden world that had always existed around them. Think about what glass had become. The same material allowed humans to look outward toward the universe and inward toward the microscopic world. Glass had become a tool for discovering reality itself. Glass making continued to improve. Windows became larger. Mirrors became better. Glass became clearer, stronger, and easier to manufacture on a massive scale. Modern float glass technology eventually made it possible to produce enormous sheets of remarkably smooth glass. Molten glass moves across a bath of molten tin, creating a very flat surface. This process is used for many of the windows, vehicle glass displays, and other products we see today. But perhaps the most surprising use of glass came from something much smaller, a thin strand of glass, optical fiber. Instead of simply using glass to see through, engineers learned how to send pulses of light through it. Those pulses can carry enormous amounts of information across continents and beneath oceans. Your messages, your videos, your searches, your calls, all of them can travel through networks containing incredibly thin strands of glass. Think about that journey. Thousands of years ago, humans were making tiny glass beads. Today, glass helps connect billions of people around the planet. The material didn't become magical. We simply became better at controlling it. Look around you. There may be glass in the window beside you, glass in your phone, glass in your camera, glass in your glasses, and glass inside scientific instruments. Somewhere beneath the ocean, thin strands of glass may even be carrying information across the planet. Yet this entire story can be traced back to something incredibly simple, a strange black rock found near an ancient volcano. Humans first encountered glass because nature had already made it. Then we learned to use it. We learned to reproduce it, color it, shape it, blow it, polish it, strengthen it, and eventually use it to control light. That gave us windows, mirrors, lenses, telescopes, microscopes, cameras, screens, and fiber-optic communication. So how did humans invent glass? The truth is, we probably didn't invent it in a single moment. We discovered it, we experimented with it, we made mistakes, we copied what nature was already doing, and slowly, generation after generation, we learned how to control the process. And perhaps that's the most fascinating part. Some of humanity's greatest technologies didn't begin with someone knowing exactly what they were doing. Sometimes someone simply noticed something strange. A strange rock, a strange material, or a strange reaction inside a furnace. And instead of walking away, they looked closer. Thousands of years later, that curiosity is still surrounding us. In the window beside you, in the lens of your camera, in the screen you're looking at right now, and in the invisible streams of light carrying information across the planet, all from a material that nature invented first.